Hi, this is James Hunter. In this video, I'm going to talk about body fat percentage, differences between men and women when looking at fitness goals in terms of what is realistic, what's achievable, and what is considered healthy or even safe if you want to take a look at it from that angle. There's a lot of misconceptions out there due to so-called fitness industry and just the supplement industry, bodybuilding, fitness magazines, and just the culture in general. There's in terms of what expectations are projected out there to the general population or people who are going to be consumers of fitness information in order to try to help, get guidance as far as what they're going to do to achieve their goals, get results, and also to have a standard by which to gauge whether or not they think they're doing good or not. So I will say right off the bat that when it comes to women, if you look at, there's different resources you can go to, pick some websites. There's the American Council on Exercise, there's the NSCA, National Strength and Conditioning Association, there's American College of Sports Medicine. You can even go to CDC websites and look through that type of information. And so on and so on. There's just so much information out there that's going to give you suggestions that are basically standardized based on studying the population of men and women in terms of what is considered healthy and fit. And I'm going to talk about body composition a little bit later on because there's different ways to speak to this issue within different contexts depending on how you're looking at it. But let's just look at body fat breakdown right now. And your body fat versus lean mass muscle is also very important. I'm going to speak to that as well. So let's look real quick right here on this website I have pulled up. You can see right here, this is humankinetics.com. Again, you can do your own research. There's plenty of websites fairly close when you compare the information. So essential body fat is approximately 3% of body mass for men and 12% of body mass for women. So women essentially, because of hormone differences, it's not recommended for their body fat to get too low. In fact, female gymnasts, because some of these female gymnasts unfortunately will develop eating disorders. They're trying to maintain a low body weight, stay really petite. For their sport that they're in, you'll see or hear accounts of female gymnasts, they'll stop menstruating or they'll stop having their period because their body fat gets too low. So they can't, your hormones in women, you have to have enough essential body fat for a woman's body to perform many of the functions that are necessary for health, specific to women. Women do not produce as much testosterone as men, not even close. They produce just a little bit of amount as compared to men. Now, while you may have some women that are outliers, they're rare. You have some women that will produce a bit more testosterone or a lot more testosterone as compared to other women. While that does exist, even in these cases, it's still not even close to the amount as the average male produces in terms of what helps us with maintaining lean muscle mass, maintaining muscle mass while we get lean, and also the other advantages it can give us in terms of strength training, building muscle, and so on. Not to mention the androgenic properties of testosterone, body hair, deep voice, and so on and so on. So these differences between men and women, do matter. So where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is that for this video is really for women who maybe are not aware of what's really going on, or you're not in the know as far as what a lot of women do in the fitness industry, whether they compete in physique, bodybuilding, bikini contest, or they're an athlete, or maybe they're just some girl on Instagram or Facebook who just looks phenomenally too good almost, right? So there's a situation here that I need to get right into. As far as a woman, if she is training natural, for her to drop her body fat into the single digits, around 5%, maybe 4%, and I have seen women that it's clear they are that lean, they're single digit body fat. It is impossible for a woman who is natural to maintain and build that extent of lean muscle mass while at the same time being that lean. They don't have the hormones to achieve that. It's not possible. So what you have are women who are taking androgenic anabolic steroids or anabolic agents that allow them to build lean muscle mass beyond what is possible naturally with just nutrition and weight training. And more specifically and more importantly, to preserve and keep that muscle when they get that lean. So when you see photos of some of these women, some who compete professionally or even in the amateur leagues, you will see them with rock hard abs, really pronounced deltoids, muscle separation, triceps comparable to males, muscle bellies comparable to men, and they're jacked. That is not possible for a woman who is training just on her own natural hormone balance. They do not have enough testosterone sufficient to support that type of an outcome, regardless of what their body fat percentage is. Even if they don't get that lean, they're not going to build that degree of muscle. So what gets me is not so much, if people are going to do certain things, I'm a bit of a libertarian. What you do is your business. You ain't hurting nobody. Fine. So if women want to take androgenic anabolic agents or just anabolic agents in general, drugs, some even take human growth hormone or peptides, which increases human growth hormone, taken together can really allow them to enhance their body composition to levels that are not possible naturally. So if women are choosing to do this, what you do is your business. That in and of itself, I don't really have a problem with. What I do have a problem with is women who are not honest and are deceptive. And what do I mean when I say that? They will lead people to believe that they are achieving these outcomes naturally simply by drinking their protein shakes, taking their pre-workout. There are branched chain amino acids in a workout while they're working out, which is bullshit, by the way. You can take, your nutrition is a whole other topic, but they are not achieving these results by their branched chain amino acid supplement, their whey isolate protein, creatine monohydrate, their vitamins, and their clean eating, and then working their ass off in the gym. That is important. There is something to be said about that. Yes, you have to train hard. Yes, you got to eat clean and correctly and be consistent. And you have to do it over a process over a period of time to get results. You have to have that in place. That is true. But even then, without the drugs involved, these women are not going to achieve the extreme look. And I'll throw some photos up throughout this video so you can see the examples I'm talking about. Is it possible for a woman to drop her body fat percent low enough to where she looks lean, fit, and athletic? Yes, that is possible, but you'll know the differences in what I'm talking about as far as those of us who've been in gyms long enough. I'll be 47 years old in a few months. I've been working out for 34 years. I've been in a lot of gyms. I've been in the industry as a trainer, and I've also myself have competed in bodybuilding, physique competitions as a way to motivate myself, challenge myself. So been around enough people, been in this culture long enough to know that there are people who are dishonest. Not just the women, the guys do it too. But this video, I'm more directing it towards women who are maybe afraid to start lifting weights. Maybe you're a bit, you're misunderstanding what the potential outcomes could be if I lift weights. If I had a nickel for every time I heard a woman say, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to get big like a man. I don't want that to happen. I'd be a millionaire by now, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And this fear can be caused by women who are on drugs, achieving unnatural extreme looks, who in all truth are not representative of women who just want to be fit, athletic, and healthy, who are going to be training naturally, okay? So what I am going to say specific to weight training and strength training, from a qualitative standpoint, the outcomes are the same for men and women. If you're a man or a woman, it don't matter. When you lift weights, you can increase your bone mineral density. You will derive, or you will get the benefits of strength training and lifting weights. Either way, whether you're male or female, you can get the benefits from a health standpoint. However, from a quantitative standpoint, the differences are significant. There are quantitative differences between men and women when it comes to the results from strength training. As mentioned earlier in this video, a woman is not going to build the same amount of lean muscle mass, so don't be afraid. no matter how hard you train and eat, if you're natural, you're not going to look like an extreme, a guy built up and jacked and overly muscular. That's not going to happen. You'll still remain, you're feminine. You'll still be feminine, but athletic and fit, and you'll feel better and be healthier. You'll increase some lean mass. You'll lose body fat. The muscle that you do build and maintain will be a better quality. So you will be healthier and fit. So just remember that there's qualitative versus quantitative. Women, if you're out there listening to me right now, any lady who may be watching this video, if you want to start weight training but you've been afraid because you don't want to get too big, don't worry, you're not going to get too big and you're not going to look like a guy if you're natural and not on drugs. And some telltale signs of women who are taking androgenic, anabolic steroids, and other agents to achieve the unnatural outcomes they are. Here's some telltale signs. When a woman gets on testosterone, and saying there's different types, there's different types of steroids. Some have more androgenic properties than others. Androgenic means it's going to give you male characteristics, okay? A man gets body hair, gets a deeper voice when they go through puberty because of the more that testosterone, that androgenic aspect of it. So when a woman gets on steroids, and I've seen it happen, they're taking androgenic anabolic steroids. I've seen women whose husbands gave it to them because they themselves were taking it, whether through a doctor or buying it wherever. And here's one of the things you're going to see happen. If you've seen a woman before whose voice was more feminine, and then over a short period of time starts to get deeper, it's because, that's an androgenic property. It's like they're going through a puberty, like a boy would when they start producing more levels of testosterone, okay? So you'll see women get deeper voices, and it's very obvious. They start sounding like a dude. When this happens, this is a permanent side effect. Even when they get off steroids, those changes in the vocal cords, that's permanent. They're going to continue talking with a deeper voice, more masculine for the rest of their life, unless they have a corrective surgery to try to reverse that. You'll see increases in body hair. I've seen women have to start shaving their chin. Their arms will get hairier. Acne. Even some women can get male pattern baldness. I've seen that happen, and for some people are more susceptible to baldness because the hair follicles are not as androgen resistant, so that's what makes the hairs fall out for guys who have that issue. So in some cases, I've seen some women, they'll start getting hair loss if they've been taking the steroids for too long. So if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, swims like a duck, it's a duck, okay? So use your common sense. I've seen women in the gym training for 10 years and they look fit, healthy, nothing to be ashamed of, and they maintained. They kind of reached what their peak was going to be, and they never saw much fluctuation from there on because they had reached their potential. And then all of a sudden in 3 months, boom, they blow up, they're jacked, and these side effects that I'm talking about, you'll start seeing some of that happening. It's obvious because that does not happen. You do not put on 10, 12 pounds of muscle, 15 pounds of lean mass, get ripped, and get those kind of results. That does not happen in 3, 4, even 6 months, period. It does not happen naturally. So when you see that happening with a woman, chances are, something is going on. Use your common sense. So in terms of what a role model should be for women who their goal is longevity, health, and fitness, and being the best you can be, these types of individuals I'm talking about, they're not representative. They're not good role models for you. You can be, if you look at this references down here, and there's other ones I can show you. If you're if you're a guy at 15% body fat, that's great. You're healthy, fit, and strong. If you're a woman at 15% body fat, that's excellent. If you're less than 20%, that's excellent. But generally, it's not recommended for women to drop below, 13% body fat, 12 to 10. You're pushing it. It's not recommended to drop your body fat to too low of levels beyond that essential body fat area that I'm speaking of. And you can look that up in other resources on the internet if you like. You can come over here. Let me see. Let me pull up the ACE one real quick. All right. So over here you see women's fats, 10 to 13% of essential body fat. Men, a guy can get 5% body fat, 4% body fat. I've been that lean plenty of times in my 40s when I've competed in bodybuilding and physique. I have been 4% body fat, 5% body fat, and I maintained my lean muscle mass, and I didn't suffer any really adverse effects other than maybe really wanting to, just go to town on carbs and cheesecake after the contest. But yeah, a guy can do that and get away with that without really harming himself, because we have the hormone balance to support that type of body composition. We have the testosterone that allows us to do that. And guys who have low testosterone who try to get that lean, you could run into problems too. So it's really not a comfortable thing. It's not necessarily a safe thing to try to get that lean if you don't have the hormone balance to support that goal. In fact, you'll lose a lot of muscle, feel weak, have not a lot of energy, and actually not look good at all. So ladies, some of you watching those videos and who have maybe competed, maybe some are just, like to get that lean. Some of you already know this and may choose to, do things that give you that ability to do it from an unnatural standpoint using some type of drugs, whether it's something like Somorelin, which are peptides that increases human growth hormone, in conjunction with maybe a more mild androgenic steroid like Anavar and these types of things. You know what? That's your business if you want to do that, as long as you're aware of the truth and you know that, hey, that's what's helping you get that degree of results. And more importantly, if you're just honest about it. And I understand women a lot of times more than men don't want to say anything because it may be even more of a stigma if a woman were to say, yeah, I'm taking these, I'm taking a little bit of testosterone, I'm taking some peptides, I'm doing basically hormone, something that would be similar to hormone replacement therapy that men do, or testosterone replacement levels, dosages of drugs to increase and enhance body composition. You're not going to get many women to just come out and say they use it, and I get it. They don't want the stigma. And for those who are in the fitness industry, might be sponsored by a supplement company, marketing products. For them to say, yes, I am taking drugs, it's not really the supplements that helps me achieve the results. For them, it's just going to be a contradiction. So they don't come out and say anything. And for me, from an honesty standpoint, that does bother me, because it misleads women who, not of their own fault necessarily, are a bit naive or ignorant, because they don't know all this yet. Now, if they do the research, become educated about these things, then they're like, aha, I see what's going on. So these are just some information I wanted to share. There's a lot more that could be said on this topic, but I'm going to keep this video, try to keep it from running too long. But the bottom line is that there are people who do things that help them achieve unnatural outcomes specific to women in this video. Can a woman look really fit and athletic? Yes, they can. They sure can. But, more times than not, if you see a woman on the extreme end, looking like a guy, talking like a guy especially, there's something going on that's not natural. And some of the photos I'll throw up during this video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a fit, lean girl like the type you might see playing volleyball at the Olympics or running track and field, even though some of them have gotten in trouble for taking drugs too. So there are examples of the natural female athlete that is attainable. Your genetics, let's be honest, hereditary does make a difference. My bone structure allows my muscles to look more pronounced. That has nothing to do with my training. That's just my bone structure, God-given. So there's a lot of things that come into play. Be good to yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you're not, like the girl on Instagram or in the magazine. If you're a woman who's, 13, 15%, you're awesome. You're doing great, and you probably look awesome as well and are a fit, healthy individual. This is for your whole life. So don't do things that could damage yourself or put yourself at risk, because, it's not worth it. Your long-term health is what matters. So I hope this video gets you to think. I didn't make this video to be a hater on what people do in their own private lives, but this is more about honesty and for women to kind of understand some of the things that actually go on if they weren't aware of it. So until I talk to you again, please feel free, if you'd like, subscribe to my channel, like the video if you want, or you don't have to. You might have a different opinion. You can drop some comments below. That's okay too. So until I talk to you again, have a good day. Thank you.